Welcome back to Cup of Joe with the J's, where we're just a bunch of idiots rambling on. Speaking of idiots, so I saw something, right? I wanted to talk to you about this. This was something that happened to me, I'd say probably a week ago, and everyone jumped to their speculations and stuff. I was driving into work,
right?
And as I was driving into work, it was like 4:10 in the morning.
Okay.
I'm on my way to work and I see something really weird, strange, right? I could swear I thought it was a plane.
Yeah.
And with the trailings leading off. But then I was like, hold on. It's fucking 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 in the morning.
There ain't no way I'm gonna be able to see that clear. And then the more I looked at it, I was like, that's fucking lights.
Yeah.
Now before you go and thinking I'm cuckoo.
Oh, here we go.
I'm one of them guys. I did see there was like 5 or 6 lights, right? Just bam, 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 and they were fucking high in the sky. And I'm sitting there looking at it, I was like, what the hell is that?
Okay.
And I'm your normal American driver, I'm not paying attention. I got my phone out, I'm trying to record it. I'm like, what the hell is that? I gotta get proof VT.
Yeah.
And a few of the other guys, one of the guy at work, he had noticed it too.
Yeah.
And when he got to the parking lot with me, I was like, did you see that shit? Because as we came around one of the embankments,
yeah,
it just disappeared.
Just gone.
Gone.
Okay.
But it was like 6 or 7 lights just right next to each other.
How bright were they?
Bright enough for you to see it.
Bright enough? Like, so like if I, like compared to like an LED light like right in front of you, were they super bright like that?
No.
Or kinda, you could just notice that there were lights in the distance.
Yeah, you can notice some lights in the distance.
And they were pretty well spaced out too? Or?
Yeah, pretty well spaced. Not too far. They were pretty damn close to each other for the most part. In retrospect of how far away I was, they're close, obviously.
So would you say this was like one single object, or like was it multiple?
In the way they looked, I would say it was more one single object. But here's the thing, right? I get to work, and immediately all the guys, I'm like, hey man, did you see this, man? And then, obviously they just start hitting you with, you're stupid. You thinking you're seeing E.T. But one of the guys pointed out, and I didn't know this, because I just didn't keep up to date with this, was Elon Musk's the Starlink satellites.
Oh,
they showed me a picture, and it looked pretty damn close to it.
To the representation of the 6 lights,
yes. But on the pictures they showed me, there was a lot more lights on Starlink. I mean, it was very far away, so there could have been more lights, and I just didn't notice it.
Was Starlink... Obviously, I haven't seen Starlink.
Yeah.
Is it a satellite? Is that what you're talking about?
Their if I can... don't quote me on it, but I believe it's their satellites for their internet.
Okay, so Starlink satellites for internet.
Yeah, it's Elon's new internet program service.
Was this like in a round? Like if seeing it on pictures?
Yeah.
Was it a round kind of?
Nope, it was just a straight from what I saw on the photos and what I saw in the sky. It was just a straight stream of lights.
Straight stream of lights.
Yeah, a lot of it was like dot, space, level of lights.
Okay. Now, I'm trying to trying to picture like the actual physical characteristics of the object itself, right? Like of the satellite.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up a photo for you.
Yeah.
That way you can kind of see.
Because that way it gives me a better idea to think, like maybe you only... Because if you're saying that you saw way more lights on the picture...
So yeah, this is a representation of the photos, right?
Oh, okay.
In the photos, you can see there's.
So this looks like a panel.
A panel.
Okay, got
and theirs looks like on obviously the photo, it looks like there's 20-something lights, right? Right. When I saw in the sky was, like I said, maybe 5 or 6.
Right.
But
I mean, for those of you that are listening only, right, maybe not watching our video, to put it in perspective, think of like a sheet of paper, like a solar panel almost, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like long, and you have lights streamed all the way across it. Okay, so that gives me a better visual there. So you think it was that
now
specifically?
now here comes into it. Now, this is when you talk about spacecrafts, right? Mm-hmm. UFO, unidentified flying objects.
Right.
You start to go into the realm of make believe for a lot of people, right?
Okay.
Everyone's got their own opinions.
Theories
about
right,
it. Yeah. And obviously my opinion on it and my theory on it is there's no way, with the knowledge we have now of how vast the universe is,
right,
there's no way we can be the only ones on, within the known universe,
right,
that is intelligent life form.
Right.
I just, that's my personal beliefs. I don't think, obviously there's tons of organisms out there that you would consider extraterrestrial life, but as far as intelligent life, I just don't think we're the only ones. That's my opinion.
Obviously, like, it would sound ignorant to deny that there is
a possibility,
right? Like, that we are the only ones here. It's ignorant. It's just absolute. It's absurd, basically.
In my opinion, yes, I think it is ignorance to say no. We are
because
the only ones.
Of the knowledge that we have and we know of, space is infinite.
Oh yeah,
there's like. It's never ending, right? You have all those stars that you see in the sky, and we know that a star is the sun, right? The sun is a star, right? Like,
you have all these different galaxies,
and
so and obviously everyone's got their own personal experiences, right? And when you talk about these things, it's like talking about the paranormal. When you talk about ghosts or we talk about any hauntings, unless you were there to have witnessed it, no one's gonna believe you,
right?
You can kind of pick up on vibes on, like, for most people, if you have a good sense of what's the word I'd be looking for? You can kind of tell if people are bullshitting their way through a story, right?
Oh yeah, like you can read people. You can just kind of tell, like,
if they're trying to sell it,
right? Like,
if they're trying to sell it too hard, I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up. You're full of shit.
Just stop.
Like, have you ever heard a story?
Shut up.
just shut up. Shut your face.
Shut up.
Have you ever heard a story, and it's always with the damn Ouija board, right?
Oh.
So let me give you some context of a little bit about my life back in the days, right?
Yeah.
Or more about my dad.
Yeah.
My dad was a bit of a rebel growing up, and I don't know if he thought it was funny to play with this type of shit.
Yeah.
But he would do seances and stuff, and he was basically a devil worshiper when he was younger. just put it on the line. That's what he was. And the story goes is, from what I was told, he saw something one day, told him something he didn't like, and from there on, changed his whole outlook on life. He still likes the dark. He still likes the paranormal.
Dark arts
world. He's into that, right?
Okay.
It fascinates him. It fascinates me.
Yeah.
Pretty much my whole family. And it's because it's the unknown. It's the not knowing.
Yeah.
And I remember being a kid, we played the Ouija board like twice. And he would stress to me the importance of it. He goes, it's not a game. It's a way of communicating. So he would tell you, when you're doing this shit, don't think it's like the movies where you're just going to put your fingers on and it's going to immediately start moving.
Yeah.
He goes, it doesn't happen that way. He goes, it could take hours.
Right.
Sure as shit, man, I'm sitting there for like an hour and a half, and I'm like, this sucks. I thought we'd do something, right?
Yeah.
And sure as shit, getting into that mindset towards the end, I just felt like a nudge. Like my fingers started pulling away. I was like, I looked at him and I was like, you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
He goes, I swear I'm not doing this. I go, you're fucking lying to me.
You're fucking lying.
So, but no, man, it started moving around. And, it was a bunch of gibberish when it moved around. None of the words really made any sense. Yeah. There was like maybe one word that was an actual coherent word.
Okay.
But other than that, it never made any sense. And then it just went to, the whole layout of a Ouija board?
Yeah, I've seen the layout, and I've seen like pictures of it. I've never actually myself experienced a Ouija board. So I couldn't tell you like how the game is. Well, I guess it's not a game.
Yeah, it's
how it's interacted with. Yeah.
So you have up in the top left and right corner. You have yes, no. You have all your letters, so it could spell whatever it's trying to say, and then it has goodbye at the very bottom.
Okay.
And so obviously you ask it a question. It goes to either yes, it goes to no,
right,
or to spell it out.
Okay.
And for the most part, when whatever it is you are speaking to is done. Communicating with you, it'll go to goodbye.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Now here comes where we played it the second time.
Yeah.
Played it on Halloween, And the same thing happened.
Ironically,
right? Well, you know the whole it's the witching. It's the day where certain spirits get to come back. All that other stuff.
Absolutely.
So I was like, let's play it on Halloween, right? Yeah. Nothing happened the first time, other than some moving, some gibberish, and then it never happened again. So we played the second time on Halloween, and I know this sounds straight from like a story someone would tell you that's something made up. But that'd be the day we were like, you know what, we're bored, let's do something kind of like spiritual. Exciting, spiritual, spooky. So we play the Ouija board, and my dad always gave me rules. Don't ever ask it to prove itself. Don't ever ask it to fucking move anything.
Yeah.
By doing that, you invite it into your home. It does not have to leave.
Oh.
That is why when young kids who don't know what they're doing end up actually communicating with something, it tends, and you have stuff happening around the house.
Yeah.
It's because whatever you communicated with doesn't have to leave. You invited it into your home.
You invited it in, and it wasn't like, hey, come on in real quick.
For
it's
a
like,
second, and get that. Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I'm in. I'm staying.
So second time we played it, right? About a good hour in, fucking our hands start to move, and my dad starts asking us some questions. He goes, "What's your name?" It spelled something weird out. I don't remember what it said, but it was something. It didn't make any sense to me. It wasn't a coherent word.
Yeah.
Or a name. And then my dad asked it, I think, "Are you good or bad?" Mm-hmm. It stopped, and then it just moved around the board.
Okay.
Like it didn't go to a letter.
It
just
say
stopped.
Yes or no.
It didn't say yes or no.
It
just kept moving around.
Right.
And then it started going. It started spelling out a word. Right. I don't know if I was too stupid to understand to know what the word was, but apparently my dad, he lifted his fingers off. And when you lift all your fingers off, you break the bond. Mm. And he was like, "Why'd you do that?" And he goes, "I don't like that it was hesitating."
Yeah.
It didn't. It felt malevolent in a way.
Okay.
So here's the thing now. It never said goodbye. So technically, what we were speaking to may not have left.
It's the lingering around.
So I'm telling you, man.
I need to finish my sentence, damn it.
Years later. Hey, bitch. Hey, no, I need to see it say goodbye. Connect. Trying to call fucking collect. Hey, whatever the fuck it was, get it back on the line.
Hey, bring it back. Like, I need you to say goodbye, buddy.
Yeah. So you fucking weeks later, man, small shit would happen around the house. You'd hear fucking noises, you'd see shadows, but it was never anything extensive. It was nothing ever crazy. You didn't see apparitions or anything like that. Okay. Shadows, but it was a quick glimpse. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
So when I hear these stupid stories about how people are like, yeah, the Ouija board said my fucking so-and-so was going to die, and the next day he fucking died, I was like, bitch, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
I mean, not to say that there's not incidences where that can happen, just you can tell when people are telling the stories, I'm like, you're full of shit.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, so you were mentioning how, like, you had your fingers on it and stuff like that, and a lot of times I kind of have, like, a hard time trying to believe on it. Like, I want to, right?
Yeah.
Like, definitely, like, you hear these stories and it's like you want to believe that it's real.
Oh, yeah.
But I kind of have, like, a hard time, right? Because now it's like it's your physical fingers, right? Yeah. Like, you're on the board. Because who's to say that even yourself, like, how would you know
if it was
that it was, you know, an outside entity?
Yeah.
Or if it was just you involuntarily just kind of like
not knowing
wanting,
that,
yeah, like wanting your fingers to move.
If you look hard enough for something, you know, you eventually
you'll eventually find it. Exactly.
Whether it's unknowingly yourself.
Exactly. So, like, you might not be fully conscious that you are the one doing it because it's like you want it to happen. You know what I mean? It's like you're trying for that to happen. So sometimes it's just our bodies involuntarily just like, I want this to be real.
Yeah.
But, you know, it reminds me of a story, right? With a Ouija board. I wasn't involved on it. I only heard the story. And the one that always stuck with me is like, for some reason, it's like, I had a bunch of friends, you know, back home, and they were asking the Ouija board questions, right? And when they were going through it and stuff like that, I guess they did the same thing. You know, they asked it to kind of like prove itself, like do something, like, hey, go ahead and, you know, show us or whatever. And they said like nothing happened, you know, and they just kind of kept going through it and stuff like that, and nothing was really happening. So they got to the point where they were about to just like, you know what, I'm
done.
I'm done. Let's put it away. And when they went to go put the board away, there's a, you know, like those industrial dumpsters.
Those steel drums,
you know, then it's not the 50.
Oh no, you're talking about the actual
big
dumpsters,
ones, yeah, where the truck has to like pick it up and
yeah.
physically, you know, with the forks pick it up and dump it.
Yeah.
There was one, you know, that sat outside of the neighborhood because it was what is it, like not assisted living, what am I,
a community
like a community, yeah, like Section 8 housing type of deal, like the projects essentially.
Yeah.
And so they had this kind of dumpster and they were playing it outside. And they noticed that when they were putting it away, they just all happened to look back at the same exact time. They all looked over to the dumpster for some reason, and then the dumpster just caught fire.
What?
Just out of nowhere, the dumpster just combusted. Like the inside, not obviously the dumpster's metal.
Yeah.
So it's not going, like the outside wasn't going to catch fire. But they said that the inside, the contents inside just caught fire, and they just saw it like instantly just combust into flames, right? They see the flames, and then that was their, all right, I'm gonna put it away, we're done here, let's go home. And you know, obviously a million things could have happened. Somebody might have thrown a cigarette in there, or like
you got someone trying to scare them or something.
Somebody trying to scare them. Maybe they knew that they were playing it or whatever, and then they just like, I'm gonna give them something to look forward to.
But this goes back full circle back to how this conversation started. Was this is one of those you had to have been there, to witness it, to pretty much
absolutely
see for yourself if you believed it was real or not. And this goes for everyone. Like when you start telling these stories, if you weren't there, it's so hard to believe someone.
Really hard, yeah.
Because obviously it's something that doesn't happen every day, and your mind wants to debunk shit so quick. So going back to the lights in the sky, I believe what I saw didn't look exactly like Starlink.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that couldn't have been it.
Yeah.
It very well could have been the satellites, but I've also seen other things in the sky.
Okay.
And you know, it's so weird, right? A few years ago, if you would have said this, a lot of people would have been like, you're one of them fucking nut jobs that thinks aliens are real. But now you have the U.S. government, the military, disclosing all these documents of actual sightings.
Okay.
Right? You have now hundreds of files that are now being opened to the public.
Right.
Where there are things out there that we just can't explain.
Right.
And you have these objects that we've never seen before flying at speeds we as a civilization can't obtain yet.
Right.
And just going from 0 to fucking 100 light speed, you're gone.
Yeah.
And then while doing that, just saying, fuck it, I'm going to go 90 degrees. Hard left, hard right.
Hard left, hard right.
Knowing we don't have the capabilities of doing something like that.
Absolutely.
So it's just mind-blowing. So with that being known, you start to look into the sky and start to think about these previous experiences I've seen.
Yeah.
Like, shit, what I saw, was it explainable?
Yeah.
Was it something, you know, just happened to be pure coincidence that you saw an aircraft at this time that happened to resemble something you've never seen?
Yeah.
Or was it actually something not of this world?
Right. So that reminds me of, I listen to Joe Rogan, as I'm sure a lot of other people do.
Oh, yeah.
And one came up. It was an interview he had with this gentleman, and he's a scientist.
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar.
Yep.
I was trying to think of the name, and I'm like, what's his name? What's his name? And that's exactly what they talk about, right? It's like how they kind of dove into like his backstory and how he worked for the government, right? And they took him into this facility, and he essentially, like, they just kind of throw him in there. They throw you in there. It's like, figure it out. They don't tell you, like, what it is. What is it? Like, what am I working here with? You know, they throw you in, you know, with a partner that he barely knows a little bit more than you.
Backwards engineer, whatever the fuck you're looking at.
Backwards engineer what it is that you're looking at, right? And it's like, when he was explaining it, it's like, oh, we can't tell you. We just need you to figure it out.
Kind of like...
It's really hard to try and, like, figure something out. Like, if you were trying to, like, solve, you know...
A puzzle. You need all pieces of the puzzle.
For me, personally, like, you know, thinking that, okay, I need to solve a puzzle. All the pieces are laid out in front of me.
Yeah.
But I never saw the original picture of what it's
You never saw the full blueprint.
You never saw the full blueprint, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you know what goes together? And it's going to take you longer.
Oh, yeah.
Way longer than what it should, right? So they talk about that whole concept, you know, and it's exactly that, you know, like, basically, like, his conclusion was, you know, they were trying to, like, work on a light speed engine, basically, like something that went super fast, 0 to light speed and nothing, right?
Yeah.
And like how you're saying, you know, take a 90-degree turn, like nothing, no gravity pull, no
the laws of physics.
No physics involved, essentially, right?
Yeah, you were breaking the laws of physics.
Exactly.
On what these things are capable of doing,
right?
Or what we've been said or told or saw that they were capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird to think, you know, like, to try and, like, put all that together is just completely baffling. It's definitely interesting to hear him talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, really? Like, and to this day, I don't think he is fully, like, he's on, like, that fine line where it's like, it's credible and it's not.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's still people out there that are, like, definitely, like, well, like, are you really saying it? It's like, for what other people are saying, you know, you talk to this person, to Bob Lazar, and then they say, like, he's a genuine guy. Like, he talks to you honestly.
Yeah, anyone who's, from what I've gotten from it, is anyone who's actually had a conversation or an interview with him is just as you said, he sounds very honest about what he said.
Yeah.
He believes in what he saw.
He believes it, yeah.
And, you know, he sounds credible. But if you look back into the history of him, the government had tried to silence this guy. They tried to wipe all records.
Absolutely.
That he was an actual scientist, that he worked at, I don't even remember what facility he worked at. But
I'm not sure. I think it was maybe in New Mexico or...
The Los Alamos.
Los Alamos? It was Los Alamos, yeah.
So they tried to wipe all his records that he ever worked there until, you know, when you try to erase someone, it's really hard.
It's really hard,
especially if there's a fucking trail of paperwork.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're bound to miss one thing.
Right.
And that's when this guy's story came out and people started digging into it, they weren't able to find anything. Until they did. Yeah. They found a document with his name on it showing that he worked there.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, hold on, wait a second.
He did work here.
He did work here because there's no way you could be on this document without having clearance and have worked here.
Right.
So where did all his other documents and his paperwork gone?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes you think, well, hey, maybe there's some credit to what he was saying.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then it also makes me think, right? Like, you know how a lot of times us as humans, right? I'm not saying that he is definitely bullshitting, that he is lying or anything like that, but
we do like to exaggerate a little bit.
We like to exaggerate a little bit, and then we like to believe our own
stories,
nonsense, our own stories,
100%.
Essentially, right? So who's to say that this guy might have been, you know, like, just maybe he is a scientist, right?
Yeah.
And then in his own studies, he kind of like formulated a lot of these plans in his head, like nothing never really like concrete on paper.
Yeah.
But maybe
in his
mind, thought about it so much
that it became
real his reality, right? It became real to him.
That's a good point.
And it's, who's to discredit that, right? Like, who's to say, like, that also could be an answer. You know, like you thought about it, you came up with the idea, you came up with the concept. Can we make it real?
Yeah.
Right? Can it be done? And it's like, I don't know. I mean, who's to say?
So I mean that's something, you know, I would absolutely love one day to get to talk to him. I don't think that's ever gonna happen unless, you know, we our presence blows up and we become a lot more well known. But until then, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
so
I would love to
hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button. What are you guys doing?
What are you doing?
You can't do it unless it's for you. Come on.
Yeah, it's like, come on. But
cheers.
Yeah.
Bros. But yeah, that's like I said, like it goes for everything, right? Unless you were there, when it comes to talking to stuff like that, unless you were there, you'll never believe it 100%.
You'll never know exactly. Like us as humans, we are visual.
Yeah.
We want to see.
If you can't see it, right? You won't believe it.
You won't believe it, you know. And then
which is crazy because how many religious people are out there?
I was just about to say the same thing, right? It's like now you diving into this whole ordeal where it's like you have people that believe in something that we've never seen.
This cosmic energy.
Exactly.
Entity.
This cosmic entity, right? That is God. Whatever your God is. Yeah. We're not saying, hey, you shouldn't believe in what you believe.
I don't know shit, so you believe in what you want.
Yeah, you believe in what you want, really, honestly. But to say that, hey, I believe in this person that created me and put me in this world.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sell it to me. Because right now it's sounding really crazy to me right now.
Yeah, and that's like you said, we want to believe, right?
We want to believe so
you found enough people who want to believe, and I think the reason why religion works so well not seeing, but you believe it for some reason, is because what's our number one fear as a living organism? We are afraid of dying.
We're afraid of dying. Yeah.
So you want to believe that this is not the end.
This isn't the end. That there's
something else
beyond this, and obviously, like like right now, maybe at a certain point, I was invincible. You know, I think we all were.
Oh yeah.
Teenagers into our 20s and stuff like that. We're like, man, I can't be touched.
You can't watch me get hit by this car and get up.
Please go ahead. But as you get older, life gets more fragile.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You start to hurt a lot more. Things start to like creak and kind of bend weird. And it's like, wait a minute.
I wake up.
This doesn't feel
and
good.
I didn't even do shit the day before. And I'm like, why does my fucking back hurt?
My body hurt, man? What's going on?
I used to be able to drink and then like have like a 4 or 5 hour hangover. And it was gone.
It's gone.
Now, God forbid, I get a little too tipsy.
Yeah.
Within, I'm gonna say the next 2 days, I'm hurting.
Oh yeah,
my hangovers last.
Yeah, and
that was right after the minute you hit 30. Everything after that,
everything after that.
And I hate everyone for telling me that. They're like, man, the minute you hit 30, that's when it slowly starts to progress. And then they go, every decade you hit 40, gets worse. 50, and I'm like, shut up, shut your mouth.
Well, it's like they say, the normal human life expectancy. Back when we were cavemen and stuff like that.
It was like 30.
Like 30. Yeah. It was in the 30s,
they said
right?
Between, don't quote me on it, but I believe they said between the years 1276 and 1300, the average life, I can't talk, man. The average life expectancy was 30 years old.
30 years old.
You weren't expected to live.
I think if you did make it past that point, like if you were in your 40s and 50s, I think at that point you were considered an elder.
Oh,
you were considered
definitely.
like like one of the wise people of the community,
the tribes, the villages.
Because it's like you actually made it. It's like, what? This guy's still alive. He didn't die from tooth decay.
Tooth decay. I got a canker in his
man, oh my god, this molar's killing me. Well, I guess I only got like maybe a year left. But,
I got witch doctors letting like little birds peck at you. Like, this is gonna help you, buddy.
And that brings me. So going back to the religion talk.
Yeah.
It reminds me, right? So the other day I went to the flea market, right? I don't know if I told you the story already, but I went to the flea market and I take my kids with me, my daughters with me. Halfway through there, the little one's starting to be a brat.
Yeah.
Right? Let me put that nicely. And then my older one was trying to like help out, you know, like trying to like, hey, you know, it's like, let's go check this out. Let's go check this out. Right? And they got to the point where they were both just like annoying.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, they're done. I'm like, well, let me just cut what I'm doing short, right? Mind you, I don't go to the flea market often, right? I should have expected a lot less. So we go into like the little food court because the kids were hungry. So this particular flea market, maybe your flea market in your part of the country, they don't have a food court, but this one did, right?
You got that nice fancy flea market.
Fancy flea market, right? So we go in and the kids see the ice cream sign. They're like, ice cream. So I was like, all right, here we go. So I get them ice cream, chicken nuggets, and we sit down and we start eating. And I got myself an ice cream too. I was like, you know what? We're already here. Why not?
I'm a grown adult.
Exactly. Absolutely. I can do what I want. So as I'm eating my ice cream, I'm trying to like watch after my kids. I have this girl approach me, right?
Yeah.
Midway through a spoonful of delicious vanilla soft serve, this girl just approaches me and says, hey, sir, how are you today? I was like, why are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me right now? What's going on?
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. So she begins to tell me, it's like, oh, you know, we're doing this thing where, you know, it's charity day or whatever. We're trying to like help out other people and stuff like that. And it's like, well, do I look like I need help? Or like, am I...
you going there looking like a bum
like
or
a
what?
bum or what? What's going on? But she tells me, it's like, we're going to go ahead and pay for your meal today. And, you know, it's like, these are beautiful kids you have with you. Are these your daughters? And I was like...
Yeah. I just found them here.
I was like, yeah, no, I just no. So I tell her, like, yeah, no, they're my kids, absolutely. And then she hands me a 20, slides it on the table. It's like, yeah, well, you know, we want to pay for your food, absolutely. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this, you know, I don't know when it changed, but apparently nuggets and an ice cream are way more than $20 nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's like, my
inflation,
God,
man.
Inflation.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
Thanks a lot, Joe. But she hands me a 20, and I was like, well, that doesn't... You're not really paying for my dinner, but hey, it helps. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. So I received the money, and she immediately tells me, you know, it's like, well, you know, I hope this, you know, helps you out, etc., and we hope you have a nice day. I thought that was the end of it. I was like, well, thank you very much. You have a nice day as well.
Yeah.
And I go back looking at my kids and I grab another spoonful of ice cream. And then she's like, well.
Here's your 20. Here's your 20 back. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, God bless. Here we go. So she went into a whole spiel about her church and why I should join them on Sundays, etc. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'll check it out. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. You know, who knows? And she's like, yeah, definitely. You should definitely check it out. And I was like, all right, cool, thank you.
Yeah.
She gives me like a little, like a business card with the address and stuff like that. I was like, perfect. Well, I got your address. I'll go check it out, you know, one of these Sundays. Again, second time I go in for another scoop of ice cream. Yeah, we really would appreciate It's like, all right, we'll do this. Let's do this. Let's go ahead. All right, come on.
Lay it on me.
Give me the whole spiel.
Yep.
Come on. Obviously, the hint of me trying to go back to my ice cream is not like getting you away. So it's like, go ahead. You just go through your whole spiel. You know, it's like, you're lucky you're not knocking on my door right now in my house because I would have just shut the door.
Yep.
So she goes through her whole spiel, and then another one just showed up out of nowhere. It's like, hi, sir.
It's a cult.
I was like, oh, dear God. What is that? Why are you all here? She sells me the same pitch again, same thing. Are these your kids? yeah, you know, like why else would they be hanging out with me? So they give their whole spiel, and I just like, yeah, you know, cool, thanks. Now I'm gonna go back to my kids, right? And I'm just gonna enjoy my meal with them.
Yeah.
And I think it was like her last thing that she wanted to get off her chest, you know. It's like, do you have any other children? And I just looked at her and I was like, not that I know of. So these are the only ones that are like in my name that I actually signed for. So.
Maybe as I'm walking through the streets, I might see one.
I might see one. Who knows? One day I might see another one that like looks like me and is like, hey, hold on, what's going on there? But it makes me wonder, right? Is it okay for churches and congregations like that to go out in public and just essentially recruit people? Because when I asked her like how many people were in her congregation, cult, she tells me, it's like, oh, we have 150 people. I was like, oh, well, that's a pretty good amount, right? It's like, well, that's if you include the children. I was like, those don't count. Yeah. Those don't count. They're only there because of their parents. That's it. You know, it's like, so she told me like the real number is more like 80 people or like 90 people. And I was like, and I started like going down the rabbit hole. It's like, how much of this, like, you're actually trying to like recruit people into your church, and how much of this is like for tax purposes, right? Like, how many more people do you need in your church to be like considered like tax exempt or whatever? Because you know, churches don't pay taxes, so it's good. They receive money, and then she's trying to tell me like, no, we don't ask for money and stuff like that. It's like, well, you need to.
How does the
right like provide like certain things to your members, right? Like you need to provide, like, I don't know if you're a Catholic church or
coming
like
out of their own pockets. How do you sustain the building?
How you sustain the building, the maintenance, the bill, exactly. Like those still have to get paid. Yeah. So obviously that all comes out of
Uncle Sam doesn't care about it's like if you're God or not. You could be God and IRS and Uncle Sam's gonna want their money.
Absolutely. So that just kind of like brought me in there. Is it okay to just go up to just random people and try to like get them into the church? Yeah. It's, to me, it's like, look, if I want salvation, if that's what I'm looking for,
I'll come to you.
I'll come to you, exactly. Like,
listen, really. I've already accepted. I'm going to hell. I've accepted it. I'll see half you bastards there with me.
Yeah, half of you. Yeah, you guys there.
Cheers.
But it's like, that's the way it should be, I think. Yeah. If I'm searching for the salvation or the peace that I want, like something more, then I should be the one coming to you, right? And they kind of like made their little arguments like, well, some people, you know, they think they're looking for something specific, and when they find it, it's not what they were expecting. So that's why you have like all these different churches, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses, the Mormons, the Catholics and stuff like that. Yeah. It's like, because maybe you are that person that needs some sort of like, hey, I need people in my life. I need like a God in my life. Yeah. You go around and it's like, try to check out all these different religions, and it's not what you were looking for.
And that's listen, I get it, right? If you're religious and you're into that, that's for you. I said it from the beginning. I know nothing. If there's an afterlife, if there's a God, I don't know. I don't know. You could be right. I could be right. I could be wrong. You could be wrong.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's weird how they do come up to you, and they do, in a sense, pressure you kind of to recruit in a way.
Yeah, kind of like pressure you in.
So it's weird. But, like, take it as this. Like, I mean, no offense. It's not for me, you know? Yeah. Like, I have my own beliefs. Yeah. And my beliefs are there. I do believe there is a higher being. Yeah. I just don't think anyone fucking knows what or who it is.
what or why.
Yeah. I think, and don't be wrong, you see in time, you see some miracles, which you would like to think are miracles or pure coincidences. But other than that, man, I think whatever brought us here has left us a long time ago.
Absolutely. It goes back to, like, the whole thing of, like, you just want to believe.
Yeah. Like
you want it to be real.
You want to think that there's something after, because, like, back full circle again. We veer off pretty quick.
Yeah.
But the reason why religion is one of those things that you don't need to see it to believe in it is because we are so scared that in our time of death, you want to think that there is something else after this. You want to think that when your loved ones pass,
right,
you'll one day see them again. And trust me, that is something I hope for more than anything else. I'd give all the money away for that to be real.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that is one hard pill to fucking swallow.
Yeah, that is one thing that I've always, like, it's sad to think that, yeah, like, your loved ones are gonna eventually go.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's just the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it is. You know, we're not meant to
be here forever.
For any more longer than 100 years.
And on that note...